Okay, so here we are in week 5 of our class already, more than halfway done, guys. Just so you know, we're not doing a synchronous class this week. I have to go to a Casbo dinner for a friend, and I was going to get out of Casbo early enough to do the conference with you at 7. I thought, I'm not going to get out till 9 or 10, and I can't ask you to wait that long. So I recorded it. Listen to the whole thing because there's an assignment at the end. Cynthia already did that. She's already turned that in and gotten credit for that class. So make sure you take care of that this week. That's part of one of the things you have to do. Discussion boards. Most of you are doing an excellent job in the discussion boards. If you are not getting 5 points credit for this, it's because you're not posting enough. And I put that in the comments. Hey, you did a good job, but you didn't post enough. You need to post at least 3 times in that discussion board. Miranda is rocking the discussion board. She posted 17 times this last week. She's doing a great job in there. You can also get extra credit for posting in the discussion board if you're putting more than 5 or 6 discussions in there and really asking questions of people and furthering the conversation. If you're getting more than 5 points, it's because you're rocking that discussion board, okay? You are going to read chapters 5 and 7 this week. Chapter 5 is on communication. And a leader communicates constantly. It's not like you say it once and you put it on a poster, and that's it, you're on your way. A good leader has to communicate, and over-communicate. Really, when you come in the room and you're having a meeting, people should know what you're going to talk about. My superintendent is always talking about options and excellence in education, and we know that, and we'll get to a place and we'll say, well, we have to do options and excellence in education, and that makes her happy because she knows we're listening to her message. You're communicating well, people know what you're going to say. Don't change your message. You should have a really basic message over and over and over that people know what you're going to be saying with them. I think that the book said that 80% of the time a leader is communicating, and there's never a time that you're not communicating. They talk about physical communication and verbal communication, watching your body language when you give that speech. If somebody knows that you don't like them and kind of standing away from them or rolling your eyes, that's communication too, and you're telling them exactly what you think. The difference between formal and informal communication. Some districts are very formal with their org chart, and you can't just email the superintendent. They want you to email the principal, and then principal takes it to the director, and the director takes it to cabinet. But in some places, superintendents, you don't talk to them. LA Unified, you're not talking to the superintendent unless you can get an appointment on some calendar months ahead of time. Other places are less formal, and you might have a personal relationship with that superintendent where you can contact them, but you need to know what's going on in your district. I know I came from a district where I knew everybody, and I came now to a district where I think good relationships with people, but I don't know the backstories. I don't know who's married to whom or who got a divorce from whom. When you've been in a district for 25 years, you know that backstory. You know who worked with each other when they were brand new teachers, and now they're principals together, so they've got a really long history together. You don't know that when you come into a new district, and so just waiting and listening to what the conversations are and who knows each other and how they know each other, super important to do. Because if you are changing districts, and you may be in your career, that's something you really need to pay attention to. I know that one time I had sent out an email to teachers about what kind of 3D printer they have. And I was gathering information. It was because in some kinds of 3D printers, there's a concern, and it's not really validated yet, but a concern that the filament could be causing cancer. So we wanted to make sure we didn't have one of those, or if we did, we had the proper ventilation for it. And I had a teacher come up to me and said, how dare you take our 3D printers away? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not taking your 3D printers away. I just need to know what kind you have, just in case we need to put in the right kind of ventilation for it, in case it's not ventilating correctly. She said, oh, well, I thought you were going to take them away. I said, well, what gave you that idea? And so maybe I needed to put a little bit more in my communication, or just tell me what kind you have. But also, because I'm new to the district, they don't have that trust factor in me, that I'm not just going to come in and willy-nilly take their stuff away. Maybe somebody has done that to them before, and so they don't trust the district office. Or, some people have conspiracy theory kind of things going on in their head. You got to know who those people are. But I thought it was interesting that she leapt from what kind of 3D printer do you have to you're taking them away from us. So, interesting. You'll see a lot of similarities in this chapter between interpersonal and personal relationship communication to Ruby Payne and the stuff that you read before. So that was pretty good. And in chapter 7, it is how to deal with conflict. you're probably not going to have a whole lot of conflict when you're a principal. Ha! You'll deal with it all the time. And what will surprise you the most are the adults that have conflict with each other. You expect children to fight. You expect parents to come in mad and defending their children. Those are things you expect. You're not expecting the adults who have crazy things that they're mad about. Okay. And you have to manage them with respect as professionals when you think, this is nuts. But that's a good chapter on how to get to the truth. What is it exactly that you're mad about? I was down visiting my mother this weekend, and my sister-in-law was very angry with her mother because her mother had cut the baby's bangs. And my sister-in-law was very uptight about that. No, how dare she do that? And what it really came down to was she was interpreting that her mother didn't think she was doing a good job as a mom because she wasn't taking care of the baby and getting his haircut. So really know what the conflict's about. Listen to people so you can solve the problem from where they are. Okay, you're going to have a great week. You're getting there. You have your next project is that one on school culture. Now remember I told you could have a lot of different ways to do this? You always, always, always have references. Don't do anything without having references someplace. So if you do a video, your last picture in your video slide, in your video production, could be your references, or you could talk about them in your video. If you're doing a PowerPoint, last slide has references. If you're doing a poster, just make sure they're on the bottom. So you could write a paper. Traditional way to talk about school culture, you could do that. You could do a poster. You could do an illustration. PowerPoint, video. You can be very creative on this assignment. I'm giving you kind of free rein. I know that kind of makes some people very nervous and some people very excited. So you can do a traditional paper if you want. If you want to do something different, you can. All right, guys. Have a great week. Call me, email me if you need me. All right.